Bullish, bearish, Omega bull, yeah. Hello everyone, yeah, bullish, short, bull, bull, bull. All right. So, okay, let's go. I'm also bullish, long term, of course. If you're watching my streams, we are definitely bullish. I just want to show you what I think is happening right now, right? So, let's start with the monthly, and then we going to, I will just update the Bitcoin, and then we going to the next charts, right? So we had this drop lower in here, right? Basically price almost reached this 50% in here, right? It wasn't exactly, it was actually it reached in here, right? So here we had this up move, right? Then we had this pullback, right? Low has been taken in here, and now we have closed above this candle. What does it mean? It means that we're creating a monthly order block, right? So it has happened on the monthly. Then if we drop to the weekly, we can see that the price has retested this order block, right? And where did it retest it, right? In here you can see this gap, right? The fair value gap, right? So price dropped lower down here below these lows, right? In here, right below this liquidity, and then we start to going higher, right? So in my opinion, these highs are in the play right now, but on the lower time frame, right? As we can see here on the daily, we have 1 2 3 4. Today probably gonna be bearish in my opinion, because we have the sweep of the previous day, right? And now we probably, in my opinion, are going to check this, right? We are going to check this, because why? Again, what we have here, once we closed above this high, we have order block created in here. So in my opinion, we are going to retest this order block and some liquidity inside of it, right? So we want to see what? We want to see price to drop lower, right? And take some lows in there and then continue higher, right? So that's, in my opinion, what's going on on the Bitcoin, right? I actually had quite a nice trade on the Bitcoin here. Here, I took the trade on the 99K, right, from this fair value gap, and the breaker there was like a 4-hour CLS setup, right? And then I closed it today in here, right, on my private account with 2.5K. I didn't took it on my prop firm account, unfortunately, but was quite good trade, right? So anyway, what I'm trading today, right? So I think that the price is going lower from here, right? Because we're coming from this, right? I think we're gonna drop lower, right? So I do not want to short a Bitcoin in here, but I found something more volatile, and it's for me a Solana, right? I have actually posted this in the Discord, and also on my trading view, right? So expecting it to go lower. It started to drop a little bit, and now it made pullback, right? So I'm actually in the trade already, right? So let me show you here. Right, yes, I'm in profit on Solana, right? I have opened the trade in here. It's like 1 2, it's like 3 hours ago, right? And the price has made pullback, right? So we will see if it will continue lower or not. So that's the trade I have currently, and we will, it's quite like a close to the entry, right, with a decent profit, expecting it to go lower. So I'm going to right now explain you the whole trade, whole idea behind this, right? So it makes sense to me if the Bitcoin is going to make that pullback in here, which looks like it will, right? Because we took these highs in here, right, on the daily, these highs, and we are now closing inside, right? Also these highs, right? And we are now closing inside. So I think we're gonna see a pullback, right? On the 1 hour, we can already see that we have closed, right? We have closed below these up candles, right? Now we've been wicking in here. Now we will see if we get the this move down, right? Um, if yes, then Solana going to drop hard, right? So now let me explain the Solana. I will start from the higher time frame because you will see why it makes sense to me that we will go lower, right? So we had on the bigger picture, right? On the bigger picture, we have this. Let me remove this one. No, I don't think Ethereum is dead. I think it's still tradable, right? However, I wouldn't invest for the long term, right? So now, uh, what do I think is that here we have this daily order block, right? Here we have this bigger time frame, and let me actually take this drawing tool, this one. Okay, but I want charts. I want charts and pen. Okay, so where's the drawing tool? I don't know why is this happening. How can I move this into other chart? I want to have my chart and I want to have also this drawing tool here, right? What do I do? How do I move it in there? How do I? All right, that's great. I want to use this drawing tool, but I want to be drawing on the window where is the charts, which doesn't want to do that anyway. Anyway, okay, so maybe no. So I don't know. So I'm not gonna use that. Sorry if I'm not very technical with this. So anyway, so here it is, right? So we have this higher time frame CLS range in here, right, which has played which has this manipulation down here, right, created this order block, and now the price has moved higher, right? It's signs that we're gonna go higher, right, in here on the Solana, because it's reacting from this key level in here, right? Now what I think is that we have a chance that the price can drop lower into these two down candles, which is a order block, right? So I think we can drop lower down here, right? Now what's happening here on the daily, let me zoom, right? So we had this down close candle, right? Down close candles, right? If these candles closing lower, right, then most likely the price is tend to going lower into this level, right, into this liquidity, right? Then we can see strong push higher, right, and rejections in here, and where it is in here, right, which is what is this candle, this down candle before we take out the liquidity and start to drop lower, right? It's a breaker, right? So we are now in here and we're getting these sweeps of these highs, right? So basically here on the daily we can see up move, right, small candle, which is a accumulation, right, and then candle going higher, closing inside, right, and then again another manipulation, another rejection in here, and now you will better might see it on the 1 hour, right, like this, and then again closing inside here, right? So even though I think that the price could drop all the way down here, I will not be greedy and targeting this. I'm targeting just this candle, right? What is this candle? It's a candle which I call a transition candle, right? Which means for me, the candle that took us from this discount, right? If I measure the fib from here to here, right, it gives me a 50%. So this is a discount, this is premium, right? So the candle low of this discount to the premium, the candle which took us there, would be my target, right? So that's how I want to frame my trade, and this is how I actually short this number around here with the stop above, right, and targeting this low, right, giving me like something like 1.6, right. Then if you adjust it like that, you get a nice 2RR trade, right. So that's my bet on the Solana, right. We can go even lower, but I'm happy to get out in here, right. That's my strategy, right. So let me check the questions. Do you think Ethereum is that CLS candle? Yeah, BTC price prediction for Q2 2026, right. Okay guys, yes, this is a CLS candle, right. This big candle is called a CLS candle, right. Big candle, and then the next candle is digging above it, right, and then next one above these highs, right. So expecting price to go lower, right. Will it happen? We will see, right. Little bit it has moved lower, now making a pullback, right, and let's see if we will get this continuation down, right. Is Ethereum dead? Right, let me show you Ethereum, right. Here is the thing. There is obviously still some demand, some money coming from the ETFs, quite nice inflows, right. But in my opinion, also in here, we're gonna get a move lower, right, because if you look to this, it's getting the same thing as we have on the Solana, right. We have quite a huge pump, right, then rejection, 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 final manipulation into this inverted fair value gap, exactly midpoint of it, right, and then price start to dump lower, right. So in my opinion, we going lower. Maybe here I would be a little bit cautious, right, but it's a short term, and I don't know if I really want to open a trade in here, right, and take a risk on this candle, right, because looks good to me, like to short it in here. Maybe we should try it, right, because this makes sense as I'm looking at it right now, right, like this into here, right. And yeah, that's for the short term, right. But if I look to the bigger time frame, right, like this, in my opinion, this really doesn't look like a bull market, right. If you look to the Bitcoin, right, this is how the bull market looks like, right. I delete this thing, right. This is, you have the high, low, consolidation, high, low, high, right. If you look to the Ethereum, you have high, low, lower low, right, equal highs, low, lower lows, right. So what is this? It could be, you never know what it could be. It could be a big consolidation, right, and if it breaks up, right, then it's going to be probably the huge move, right. Right, but also if you look at it realistically, right, uh, it also can look like a huge distribution, right, because you have the expansion, right, retracement, then what you have here is a order block created, right, on the weekly, right, these up candles, you have the order block created, break lower, right, then another break lower, retest, break lower, another break lower, right. So it doesn't really look like it wants to go up, right. Now I don't know, maybe maybe it's a huge distribution, right, who knows, right. But for us, as a short-term traders, right, we could be watching on this, right. So let me try to look at this a little bit deeper, right. So we have this daily CLS candle, right. Now we can see what in here, right. These lows, they've been broken from where? From some level, right. What is the last up candle, right? In here we have these two up candles, right, taking this liquidity up here, right, reject that here, right, and these two up candles are what? These are definitely a order block, right. Nice order block in here. it was broken. I think I actually might take this short, right? Now we are rejecting above this, right? We have also this gap in here, and it's in confluence with this, and I think the short could actually work in here, right? So let's try short, right? Let's try to short it into this low. Well, how it looks on the lower time frame. On the lower time frame, we have manipulation in here, and to confirm the change in order flow, right? You should not be looking like let's short it in here, right? Because I'm gonna get better price than here, right? But in here, once the price close below this low, right, you will be more sure that the order block was created, right? So sometimes a lot of traders are impatient, and they start to short already in here because they want to have a better entry. But then then price do what? Go higher again, and then it goes lower, right? So you better want to wait for a close below this level, right? So that would be confirmation for me, right? I would set alert in here, create, right? And once it closes lower, right, then it would be short for me, right? Like this, right? Now, can we copy or trace? Well, it's up to you, right? Everything what I'm telling you in here that I am doing, nothing of that is financial advice, right? I'm just explaining my strategy, and you decide by yourself if you take the trades based on that or not, right? Now, the question, BTC, is that CRC? Yes, I answered. Can we copy or trade? I saw you in BTC Prague. I will answer this later. But isn't the price going with the BTC, right? Well, it isn't, right? You just can see this is a monthly on the Ethereum, right? You can see we are still below the lows of the 2021, right? Here is a 2021 highs, right? And we are still like a 50% below these highs, right? If that happens on the Bitcoin, right? Where is the 2021 highs? Here, right? And we still would be 50% below these highs. We would be on 32K, right? You would be on the 32K. So if you compare this with Ethereum, right, high and 50% low, this is where the Ethereum is compared with the Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is already, right, 61% above the 2021 high. If they go together, right, and you check the Ethereum, and you would be 61% above these highs, right? So you would be already, if they go together, on the 7K, right? It didn't happen, right? It's probably the reason could be the Solana, but as you can see, the Solana really didn't show anything extra yet, right? We can see also 2021 highs just swept, right? And still we are 50% below these 2021 highs, right? I'm not saying that these coins are dead, right? Or there will not be alt season. Probably there could be, right? But still, if we look to the Bitcoin dominance, it's still Bitcoin season, right? You see how we're still going higher on the Bitcoin. There's no alt season yet. In my opinion, alt season will come after these highs will be taken, right? We still have a room. Actually, if we look from the weekly perspective, it's better seen in here, right? I do think that as you can see in here, let me draw for you. As you can see in here, this, right? This, right? As the price went higher, right, and then make this sharp move down, right? Everyone was expecting alt season in here, right? It's here, right? It's the same case, right? You can see it was here, around July 2018, right? And then Bitcoin was still pumping, right, until the September 2019, right? This is here, August, July, right? So you still have a room until the September, right? So it's gonna be September is going to be here, right? So probably it's still uh, this thing, right, is still happening in here, right? In my opinion. What is the best right now? Can we do 150? Right. Now, when Altseason, right? Well, in my opinion, Altseason is going to play once the Bitcoin dominance is going to go low, right? And in my opinion, it's going to be somewhere around here. For this moment, it doesn't look like anything like that, right? Another thing which I want to tell you, my friends, is that I do not think that we're gonna get any more that typical alt season, right? It's not gonna be that easy to just buy some alts and hope that they are going to fly, right? Because look at it this way, right? In the 15 years since the Bitcoin was created, there is already 15 millions of some altcoins, meme coins, shit coins, right? And all of this money. And what's actually happening right now, we got these institutions which are also in the markets, and they buying these treasury companies, right? Like a MicroStrategy, Similar Scientifics, right? What is there? MetaPlanet, and all of these. And these money are not going to take profits from the Bitcoin and transfer it to the altcoins, right? They are locking the Bitcoin for the long term, right? So in my opinion, the Bitcoin bull market is right now driven by this institutional money, and who knows if they will ever move it back into the, if they will transfer it, or if they will be basically, how to say that, if they will be switching from the Bitcoin to the alts, right? Now, so I think that right now this money from the retail traders will be can be split into many coins, right? So is question is it, if it is going to be enough money to really pump these coins with these exceptional numbers as we know from the past, right? That's the question, right? If it's going to repeat again, right? Maybe they can be just mm, it can be just a somehow moving, right, something like that, which is still fine, right, for us as a short-term trader, right? Look, I'm not betting that the Solana will go to 5,000, right? Maybe one day it can get there, but for me as a trader, I can play up and down, right? For the investment, for the long term, I see the Bitcoin, right? That's I think that is the only one who worth to hold, right? And if you don't believe me, you know, I do not want to convince anyone, but you can just see it, right? Bitcoin always survived every bear market and it went up, right? Many altcoins were here just for the one bull run, right? The I don't want to say scammers, but let's say these investors or whoever has created them, they pump it, dump it, and that's it, right? Let me show you something actually interesting. Here is a top 10 coins. Top 10 coins 2017, right? Crypto. Top 10 coins. Okay, look here. Here is a snapshot of the historical coins, right? You can see here is a Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? Bitcoin Cash, right? Where is it today? It's completely dead, right? XRP, okay, it's still here. But now look, Cardano, it's dying. Actually, Cardano is planning to buy Bitcoin to the treasury. So they want to be backing the Cardano by the Bitcoin. Why are they doing that? Because they know that no one is interested into having a Cardano. By doing this, they trying to save themselves. But who's gonna buy the Cardano as they hold the Bitcoin if you can buy the Bitcoin right now? Look, IOTA, it's not here anymore. Dash, not here anymore. name I don't even know it is. Monero, it still exists. It's a good like a privacy coin, but the price really didn't go up. It didn't catch up, right? Look, Stellar, EOS, Neo, Ethereum Classic, Tron. Okay, Tron is still here. But from these first 20, right, BitConnect, it was scam, right? So you can see most of them are not here. They just disappeared, right? But Bitcoin is still here, right? If you're thinking about the investment, that's the Bitcoin. But the other ones, you will see. Now we have the SUI, AWE, whatever they promising that it can do, or whatever it is faster than Bitcoin, or it is solving some problem. It's all just a short-term thing. Most of these things will not be here in the 5 years, right? So that's how I would close it right in here, right? So when Altseason, as said, once the Bitcoin dominance will go lower, right? If it will ever go, right? So it's still pumping higher, and as said, I think we're gonna see easily 75% dominance, right? So it's still room to go higher, right? So it still can be like 10 weeks minimum, right? Maybe it can start September. What's the best thing anticipating right now? Can we do 100 to 150 this year? You mean the Bitcoin, right? Yeah, okay. So the Bitcoin, in my opinion, here it is, right? So here, this is what I'm watching on the Bitcoin, right? I'm basically watching this channel, right? Uh, I did my first Bitcoin buys in here when this trend line broke, right? Then I also called this low in here, right? It was one of my best calls, right? And that's where I have started accumulating really some Bitcoin, right? Anyway, just want to show you because I always like to watch it again. Let me show you here, right? If I have it, I didn't share it here. Wait a second. Yes, I'm trading on the Hero account, and this week I'm going to expect one of my biggest withdrawals, my friend. I will show you the trades I had. Okay, so it's probably some different prediction, right? Give me second. Right, it's in here, right? So this is my prediction from the 2018-20, right? So here I was calling this low, right? And that's where I actually bought some first 1.5 Bitcoin in here, right? And then you see where we are right now, right? And if you investing in those shitcoins and altcoins, as I told you, most of them are not here anymore, right? So this low, right, is this low, right? And now we have this channel, and in my opinion, if the history repeats, we could see some highs around here, right? If I also apply into this channel this line, right? So this is where I think we are going, right? So it's like 160, right? Maybe something above, right? It depends how it will go, right? If we're gonna get again some kind of like a parabolic move, parabolic move. Now we're not getting parabolic move, right? Now we are trading in some kind of channel in here, right? So that's the question, right? Are we gonna get this parabolic move here, right? Who knows, right? Then again, if it's going to be parabolic move on the end on here, then the bear market will be stronger, right? If it goes slower up and up and up, then probably not gonna be this, right? Shouldn't we retest? Yeah, we might should, right? But actually the price didn't react in there, but it reacted here on these on this, right? Here was the fair value gap, and on these highs, right? You see here is these highs, and that's where the price retraced, right? And it reacted on the highs, right, in here. So so we don't have to retest it, right? Maybe if this is going to be like a strong parabolic move, right, then maybe we can get the retest, right? Because it wasn't retested in here, maybe it can be retested in here, right? And then this retest would be somewhere, we don't know exactly, right, like a 66, 69, 79k, right? Which also again makes sense, right? Because look here, right? Sorry, we have this high, right? Price created high, retested high, right? And again, if we create high, retested high, it would be here, right? So it can happen in here, right? But that's the prediction, like more for the investors, not for the traders, right? David, do you follow BlackRock, Vanguard accumulations? No. I don't follow them for the short-term trading. Definitely not, right? For the short term, it doesn't make sense at all, right? Let's look at Solana. Start to move. Right, so we see Solana is moving right now. This is going lower, right? So we this was the trade I've been posting in my group, but honestly I didn't execute, right? And it start to see like a be dumping, right? You see was the order block, right? Retested, and now we're going to get that dump most likely, right? I don't know why is that, but since I realized this, since I'm doing these streams mostly on the Thursdays, there is a dump. I don't know why is that, right? But it's happening, right? And here is actually this Ethereum, right? So look, right now, if this our candle, right, which is the candle closing in the 26 minutes, if it closes below here, right, I would like to enter the short, right? So, and then obviously, as per the strategy, you have a first target on the 50% in here, right? And then second target here, right? So that's what you should do, right? Let's look lower time frame on the 1 hour right now in here, right? So it was 4 hours, now 1 hour in here, right? I actually think we could enter in here, right? But I don't know if I'm probably going to skip the trade because I'm already exposed with this trade and I'm risking around 1.5% in this trade, right? And I do not want to put another trade in here, right? So let's keep it for the record. My target on Solana is this candle, right? So it's like 136.69, right? 136.62.8 I got in here, right? Below this candle, right? This one, because that's the candle that's taking us from here to here, right? So yeah, here's the render, right? Also was looking nice. Someone was asking that in my private stream, which I'm doing on the YouTube, right? So if you want to join, I'm doing it almost every day on the mornings, right? So again, we had in here, actually beautiful, again, similar situation, right? You see that how almost all my trades look same, right? Because I'm still following the same footprint, right? Look, in here we have seen these two lows, right? That's a potential target as a liquidity, right? Candles are closing lower, right? This candle closing below this one, right? So what does it mean? It means that the liquidity is still down here, right? So if you know that, and then next day some candles are opening, you are not going to be stupid to open a trade in here, right? You want to wait for a manipulation above some highs, right? For some big candle, right? So you got this big candle in here, right? It's a whole day candle. The next day candle, the next one, what happens? right? In here, in specific moment, this candle which opened, right? In some specific moment, it was looking like, let me put the colors, right? So we have it like a nice, right? Was looking like this, right? Here where we have this wick. In one moment, this candle was looking like this, right? This white one was here in one moment, breaking higher, right? In that moment, everyone was bullish here, right? Buying here, right? Expecting this is a low, this is a alt season, and that's a Lambo time, right? So, but what happens? Boom, it closed inside, right? It closed inside and created what? From the daily, we need to drop to the 1 hour, and once it closed below these up candles in here, right, we getting actually our order block, right? And here should be entry, right? I didn't enter it. I cannot take all the trades, right? But that's simply the strategy. That's what I'm looking for, right? I can explain you in here, right? It's a simple thing which is still repeating, right? Here, look, you have a big candle up move, right? Here, that's the candle how it was looking like, right? That's not our signal. But once the candle, next one, closed inside, that's your setup, right? That's where you're looking for the next candle going lower, right? Now let's go back to the charts, right? You don't see it in here. Let me take you to daily. Now you see it? Do you see this pattern? You have a big candle, next one does a manipulation, right? Next one does a manipulation, and next you expecting price going lower, right? You see it here, right? Do you see it here? In the little bit different playbook, but same, right? You have a candle, you have a manipulation, candle closing inside, price going lower, right? Do you see it here on the renderer? Do you see it here on the Ethereum, right? Little bit different, but also same thing, right? Candles closing lower, right? Let me show you something. Here, right? How I find a bias, right? One candle closing above another one. Where's the liquidity now? Still up, right? If I'm not on the key level in here, this highs still will be reached. If the key level is higher, I still have a room. So what then I'm doing? I'm looking on the lower time frame for the pullback, for the manipulations of the big candles and continuation higher, right? Obviously, the vice versa is going to be for the bearish situation, right? That's what I got in here, right? Look, I got one candle closing below, right? Next one, let me do this. I'm just going to hide all of these. Okay. Right now, you one candle closing below. Where's the liquidity? Here, right? Then you have another candle closing below, right? Now, this low wasn't taken, but candle is making a pullback, right? Still, liquidity is here until this low is taken and price start to move higher. But also it needs to be on a key level. Where's the key level? Key level is down candles. Down candles are supporting. It's here, right? So you don't want to go long in here. Why also? Because look, right? Discount premium. You buying in the premium prices. You have a room for the pullback, right? You don't want to be buying for when something is expensive. You don't want to be buying car when it is expensive. You want to be buying it when it's in the discount, right? So therefore, if I put all of these things together, right, we get a higher time frame CLS range, right, manipulation, price going lower, candles closing lower, right, should be giving us this pullback, right. Then if we measure Fibonacci in here, we got the pullback, right. How you measure it? Look like this, right. Now I can delete this thing, right. Now look, price starts to move lower, and if you're selling, you don't want to sell for the discount, you want to sell for the premium. Are we in the premium? Yes, we manipulated into the premium in here, right. Look, lower time frame. If you remember, as I was speaking here on the Solana, where's my target, right? Look on this 1 hour, right, this candle, the candle that took us from the discount to the premium, right? Now let's go to the Ethereum, right? Where's gonna be my target? Actually, where was the target for this pullback, right? Look, the candle that took us from the premium to the discount, right, is here. That's the liquidity. So in here it was manipulated, right? Now if this confirms, if this 1 hour candle close lower, I think this short can make sense, right? So what I'm going to do right now, I'm basically going to wait for the confirmation in here, right? Can set up the alarm, right? Not crossing down, less than, right? Once it close lower, so then I'm gonna receive the alarm, right? Basically I need to put it lower in here. Is the crossing down maybe? How's this alarm working? Right, no. Okay, so I'll leave it like that. Crossing down, okay, safe. Right, I will be waiting. I want to see a close lower, right? Because now it still can do some things, right? It's still not confirmed in here, right? On the Solana, it's already confirmed. It should be happening, right? Maybe we can find out that I was wrong, right? You never know. What's the next questions? Check some, please. What is the lowest time frame CLS can be applied to? It can be applied any time frame, guys. But I personally don't recommend to go lower time frame than M15, right, or 1 hour. Some, right? What is this? Some, like this. Some. Ape coin, yeah. You mean Ape USDT? Okay. So let's check Ape. Yeah, okay, but it's you see, this is something which you really don't want to imagine, right? That's what I've been telling you, right? Some coins, I think it's these apes, right? There was also connected with the NFTs, etc., right? So imagine, right, in here, in 2022, where was this hype, right? Imagine you bought it in here, right? And it's still going lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, right? Lower low, right? Those who thought in here that this will outperform Bitcoin in here, right? Because they wanted to, they've been greedy and they bought it in here. They are now 95% down with their capital, right? Yes, with the Bitcoin, you would not be any richer, right? But you would be 80% up if you bought the high in here in 2021 when this ape was down, right? So that's the thing, guys. As I told you, don't invest long term in these shitcoins. It's never worth it, right? So, but in the as a trader, it's obviously possible to trade it, right? So we can see there's some lows being taken in here, right? Price can go higher. Here's again the highs being taken, right? I personally don't like too much doing these on the monthly, because it always takes a lot of time until something develops, right? So we had this monthly range, right? Price take it higher, right? In here probably maybe some people been expecting some breakout, right? And then we need to go level by level, right? So let's decode it, right? So here liquidity taken, price sharply close lower, right? It is creating the order block in here, right? In the midpoint we reacted, and then we going lower, right? Then again this low, this candle in here, right, is a breaker, right? So once we break below it, you see we are retesting and then going lower, right? In my opinion, as I'm looking at it on the daily right now, if I apply the same thing, right, this candle closing below this one, right, most likely we are going to reach this low in here, right? In here I would not be surprised if it's go there, right? But because as you can see, it's like a ultimate shitcoin, right? On the weekly you can see we also have this as a weekly order block, right? So nice reaction in here this week, right? Let's check on the lower time frames, right? We don't have this move really in the one candle, right? But if we use the two candles in here, right, then we getting something like this, right? It's going lower. So let's try to find the trade on the lower time frame if there's anything. But you can see these gaps, right? There's basically no liquidity. Why is these gaps are happening? There is no liquidity, right? So you can also look to the coin market cap, right? Look, ape coin, what is it, ape coin? Yeah, right. So look, there is a 59 millions. It's like a 400. Let's check it out, right? Volume, 24 hours market cap, right? Unlocked market cap, right? All time. You see, this is simply pump and dump, right? It's like a real scam, right? You really don't want to trade this too much, because these, when there is no liquidity and these gaps, you will probably also get some slippage, right, in the executing the trade, right, in executing take profit and all of these things, right? But I think it will go lower, right? So let's keep this on my chart and we will see where we're gonna be next time, right? Here's a hyper liquid coin, right, from this exchange, right? And this looks good, right, to me. We have some highs, lows, and now we are on the highs, right? So when that looks better than Ethereum to me, and that looks also better than definitely this ape coin, right? What's the lowest time frame, right? So right, it's pretty much we trading in this candle that took these highs, also these lows, right? So I would be focusing right now as we taking the highs and closing inside here. I personally would be focusing on this fair value gap, right, below these two lows, right? So my bias would be bearish, right? Now we have this candle, right, moving higher, taking out this high, right, and reacting on this order block, right? We have this last up candle, right? This was just a rejection, this up candle before we break lower, right? So you see we're reacting in here, rejection, candle closing inside, right? We already know this, right? Remember, guys, this is what I want to see. right? And I'm seeing it, manipulation candle close inside, and then even another candle taking this high in here, right? And now we are here, right, which is perfect because we have this candle close, right? And once you have this candle close, where you want to position yourself, right? Above here, right? So we now need to find a level in this candle, right, which probably maybe was created in here, right? So now we are on the lower time frame. You have a level in here, right? When you have such a big wick down here, I use a level in the midpoint of it, right? I'm never trying to be like really exact where from, right? And that would be a perfect entry in here, right? Me as a swing trader, if I really enter in here on here, it would not make too much difference for me, right? If I would be targeting this low, right? What I would be targeting, right? If I measure again this, right, I would be targeting low of this candle, right? And yeah, that's pretty much what I would take this trade, right? Then then of course you can be even more precise and go to the lower time frame, and try to be more exact with your entries, but it depends on how much time you want to spend with the computer, right? Now, someone has been asking me how was the BTC Prague, right? It was actually quite amazing. I met a few interesting people in there, especially one guy who is apparently the Satoshi Nakamoto. I actually had a conversation with the Peter Todd, right? Let me show you who is it. Peter Todd. It's a guy who's been in part of the cyberpunk, and right, you can see in here, right? Peter Todd, Canadian software developer. They say falsely identified as a Satoshi Nakamoto, right? You can watch on the HBO. There is a quite a big documentary about this guy, and I think Satoshi Nakamoto is probably a group of the people, and I think he's definitely one of them, right? He's definitely has been in this forum where they've been speaking about the Bitcoin, setting it up, right? And then they disappeared, right? So it was quite interesting. I had a nice interview with him, and I met some other nice Bitcoiners, right? Not the traders. These people are mostly not traders, but the hodlers, right? It was really interesting to me. So yeah, that was a really nice event for me. Okay, my friends. Okay, my friends. So how does it looks like on the Bitcoin? Right? Not much. Not much. Right? We closed below. We wicked. Right? Maybe now can go for this wick. Right? Now the question is if this manipulation here, if it's going to be enough, right? Maybe it's too shallow, right? Not deep enough. Okay. Right, and here is a sui. Very, very same thing, right? Very same. Look, we have daily candle, manipulated price close inside. Then you're looking, I can hide this, right? You have manipulation, right? Then this manipulation taking another highs, it's important, and it should be also reacting in some key level, right? Which is not clear here, but if you go to the weekly, also not. And now if I draw this, Also not here. Right, that's maybe why I didn't. Right, not really clear daily level, right? But now, if I really want to fit it right, I would say this low, you know, maybe in here also, as I said, that if I'm not clear with the key level in here, like with the way that I'm taking the half, right, I'm sure that if I will measure this, it's going to be exact half, right? You see in here, right? But you know, always you're not gonna find a key level, right? Which wasn't that clear to me in here, right? Now these up candles, right? Before we go lower, but here is the down candles also, right? So that's not that clear in here, right? Anyway, that's it. That's that simple pattern. I'm trying to trade, make money, and milk prop firms, right? All right. So we have last 3 minutes. Was the biggest argument by Izzy Satoshi, right? Basically, he was. You need to watch the document, my friends. He was in the Satoshi, right? So he was in the early involvement in the big Bitcoin expertise, right? He denied that. Obviously, if you're Satoshi and you have a million Bitcoins, you will deny that, right? That's. But he was there already announced 2011, right? So he was active in the project, right? Uh, but making unlikely he was original creator, right? He obviously will deny that, right? I would also do not say that, right? If I'm Satoshi and I have million bitcoins, right? Who knows, right? Who knows what they did? Maybe this million bitcoin wallet, maybe they destroyed the keys, right? The passphrase. But it's really interesting. He or the Adam Beck and the another guy, that runner, I don't know what was his name. He's I think these people are somehow involved, right? And they could be kind of Satoshi, right? So yeah, the trade is not really dumping hard, not really developing, right? I think we are now reacting on this level, right? So this level needs to be destroyed. So right now we're coming into the opposing level, right? So we had this order block created in here, right? Price broke through this low. This was retested. Now we are going to the next order block, right? Which is going to be this one in here, right? Again, which took these highs, right? So I think that we're gonna get to this order block, right? And then we can go lower, right? Because this is already tested. So these orders would be taken, right? So that's now my scenario, right? Sorry. So what does it mean for me if I am in this trade right now? Am I going to close the trade because it's going to go up here? Well, not really, right? I mean, I can hold this, right? I can hold this, and if I get confirmed that this one is going to work in here, maybe I can add more into the position, right? All right, my friends. So it's a 6 o'clock Central European time, and I would close the stream in here. I want to thanks everyone for joining, and I wish you do summarize these trades setups. Yeah, I summarized them. So obviously, I summarized all the trades always in my trading hub, right? Which is actually my journal, right? So every trade I take, I also trade forex a little bit. So every trade I take, I always do these things, right? Why it doesn't want to? Um, I always take, but I don't know why my pictures. are not uploading in here. Yeah, I definitely summarize them, but I don't know for what reason is this not updating. Go online to view this image. That's weird, right? Yeah, so in here I also post them into a Discord, right? Not only Hyro Discord, but also the trading hunters, right? Where is also here my special channel where I post all these trades, right? So here's actually the trades from the recent post, sorry, recent streams, right? So here we had this inch coin short, right? Also this link short, right? This was previous week, last week's stream, right? Here was, yeah, that was the trades when we opened them. Let me also show you. I actually had an amazing trade on the AVE and on the yeah, this was AVE. This AVE went lower, and also there was Ethereum short. This one, and it dropped also lower. But I don't know why this my journal is right now not uploading the pictures easier. That's some kind of, let me try to update. No, it's not updating the pictures. Go online. I am online. Anyway, my friends, yeah, so my trades are obviously posted in the Discord, also on the trading view, also on the Hyro Discord, right? So yeah, I would close it in here. I hope that maybe this was a little bit lesson for someone to help you realize something, right? I don't want you to feel that I'm kind of superior to some of you. I'm obviously not. I just might have spent more time with mastering the craft, but I think every one of you is able to do that, right? Take care, my friends. See you next week. Bye bye.